What's good, everybody? It's your boy Marz Eternal, and we are back with a brand new episode of No Sega for Old Men. And as usual, I'm joined by my co-host,
Queasy Crayfish.
That's right. And today we have, it's not news anymore, but we finally have a game. There's finally actually a game. You know, we started this podcast back in 1994 when we found out Sega was going to make some new games. And yeah, I mean, it's been what, 31 years. You know,
it's been a hell of a time.
Exactly, you know, and we just been waiting, but we finally got one of those games. And I mean, what's still crazy to me is we do have this game, but there's still only information about one game out, you know. So all four of those other games, we still have no tangible information. We do have some other dope Sega things that I'll probably touch on very briefly. Those two, you know, on top of Shinobi, we have Sonic Racing Cross Worlds and Virtua Fighter 5 Revo finally coming to everything. So, you know, Sega's been doing some stuff. So we'll definitely spend the majority of time here today talking about Shinobi, but there's some other Sega stuff and also a couple other video game things I want to touch on. So, Queasy, how's it been? You know, this 50-year wait here.
50-year wait. Well, I mean, you know, we should mention that we did record a podcast discussing Shinobi when we were in the midst of playing it still. We both have completed the game now, but you know, some early impressions, and unfortunately, due to, I knew it was going to happen sooner or later, but some audio issues, we had to scrap that one. So this is attempt number 2, but it'll be better because we both completed the game now. So
right, yeah, you know, we actually got our full opinions, you know. So that was, that was on me, you know, some computer error. So hopefully you guys get to hear this number 2 and that there is no number 3, you know. But we will go ahead and get into it. So yeah,
if you're reading this, it's too late. It's one of those things.
Right. No, exactly, you know. So yeah, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. It you know, it is much better to talk about it now because we have both completed the game. So I have a full opinion of the game. I've gone through the whole game. I've seen what is offered once you beat the game, because you do unlock some new stuff, some new modes and everything. And I would say that overall, I think I guess let's just start off. We'll do some scores.
Some scores.
As I'm sitting here, yeah. As I'm sitting here right now, I would give this game an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
So what would you rate the game?
I'd probably do an 8. Do an 80 out of 100. How about that?
Okay, so yeah, you know, that sounds better. More points, all right? Same percentage, more points. No, I mean, yeah, it's definitely, you know, for me, I think it's definitely a game where it's like, if you like Sega, if you like Shinobi, if you like 2D action games, if you like Metroidvania games even, you should definitely check this out. I think if you don't have any interest in any of those things, I don't think this game will necessarily blow you away. But it's pretty damn good, though. You know, it's pretty damn good. So I guess I'll start off by saying that when I played the demo, I didn't initially enjoy it. But once you actually play the game itself and understand how it works, it's actually pretty dope. So it basically is an action game and a Metroidvania in one. So basically, the game is separated into different stages, but the stages are all pretty complex, and there's secret pathways, secret hidden things. You'll almost certainly not see everything in the stage the first time you go through it. But there's treasure chests, there's secret coins and things like that you'll get throughout the stage. And then on top of that, even when you're going through the stage the first time, you'll sometimes encounter areas where you don't even have the ability to traverse that pathway. So you do have to go to later stages and get certain upgrades and then come back to those stages and unlock everything. So even though it is separated in different stages, it has that sort of Metroidvania element to it where you have to unlock new things later and then come back and open up new pathways. So it doesn't necessarily stop your progression like it would do in a Metroidvania, because you do still continue throughout the game. But if you want to get the good upgrades, if you want to unlock more moves, if you want to get all of the, upgrade your health and upgrade your specials and all that, you're going to have to go back through and unlock some things. So even, of course, as I was playing, I was going back and completing stages before I actually beat the game. So that first playthrough of it really did sort of feel like a Metroidvania style game. Then once you beat the game, you unlock both a boss rush mode and an arcade mode to where you can go through the stages and get a score and get timed and all that. So I think if anything to me stands out the most about this game, I don't know if any other game has done that. I don't think I've ever seen that before. For me, action games are usually either or. It's like, oh, is it a Metroidvania? Oh, okay, no, then it has levels. I don't think I've played anything that does both. There may be some, indie game or whatever that does it, but I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really cool, and so that's probably my favorite thing about the game. So yeah, Queasy, any early or initial things you wanted to get out there about the game before we criticize it to death?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that I think it is. Yeah, I mean, it's Metroidvania light. I think in my mind, as it does have those elements, and the first time you do play through it feels like the levels feel really long, and you feel like, man, am I gonna have to stop and I gotta go eat now or whatever. Or I gotta go to bed or something. You feel like the urge to stop in the middle of it. But then when you go back through it again, like you're just like, especially some of those longer sections where you're just kind of running and encountering enemies, like you just feel like you're just blowing through them. And it has, and like you said, it has secret passages and treasure chests and all that addictive stuff that everyone loves. That you do have to kind of search for, and I think that's, it's very nice to have, because if you look at the original Shinobi games, it's pretty much point A to point B. I don't think there's really a lot of secrets to be. I don't want to act like I'm an expert on Shinobi 3 or anything like that, but I don't recall there being a lot of like, oh, there's a secret room here that you need, such and such the claws to get to, or anything like that. So I think that was nice, and it gave it a good replayability, and that it tells you too. It tells you, you have 71% of this stage complete, so like, well, I can go back and I've got some more equipment now. Maybe I can find something where I can use a grappling hook and, get to some new area or whatever it is. And so that's nice. And I like that it wasn't real, like, obtuse, like it was, Elden Ring or something like that, where it was like everything is just hidden and you could just completely miss things without having any logic behind why you would look there or anything like that. Like, everything was, it has secrets, but like you can find the secrets. It's not like they're super hidden or anything like that. So it definitely has a lot of replayability, and I would get through a couple levels and then I would want to go back and try to 100% them. And I think I 100%ed probably maybe a little more than half of the stages. Not so much at the end of the game, because I was trying to get through it, but I did quite a few. I got the Dark Katana, which you have to complete all of the what do you call them? The
Anko rifts, I think.
Yes, the
it's
Anko
ANKOU. Yeah.
Yeah, so you had to complete all of those to get the Dark Katana. I did get those. Man, those platforming segments were insane sometimes, but we did we did get through it. I don't think I probably got all the costumes. I got up to the pink one. That was as far as I got.
Okay.
And then it was just I got quite a few of the medallions or whatever you call them, the coins, and or the medals. I don't know what they were called, but all of that stuff, and unlocked a lot of things through the shop. And so there was definitely a lot of unlocking going on. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, and you know what, that is the other thing too, because it's funny because when I went back, I did go back after I beat the game and played the first stage to see how that arcade mode was. And you do recognize a lot of things that you can do once you have beaten the game that makes everything go a lot faster when you do those stages. So for one thing, and this is one thing I want to address, because there is some hate for Shinobi out there I've seen, because people are saying, oh, you can just run past all the enemies. And I mean, yes, in a lot of the sections, and I think this is done more for like arcade or speed running, you can run past the enemies. However, there are a few things that I want to mention about that. So, for one thing, if you're trying to go as fast as possible, you can run through a lot of the enemies until you get to like a mandatory section, or until you get to like a boss fight. And then on top of that too, like you're saying, Queasy, there are a lot of combat upgrades that you do unlock, and a lot of different, because there's not just like the big specials like the old games, but there's these rechargeable, smaller kind of special moves that you get that, I mean, like throughout the course of a fight, I don't know what the max is. I think I have 3 of them, but 3 charges for the move. But I think you can get up to maybe 5 charges. And I mean, throughout a fight, you'll refill those charges. So you kind of go back and forth between doing a lot of different sword play and then using these sort of like magic moves. And so, I mean, the combat is like quite robust. It's a hell of a lot more robust than the old games. And it's even more robust, I would say, than Streets of Rage 4. And so when you do go back through the stages, you definitely feel a hell of a lot stronger, and you can do a lot more stuff, so that kind of makes it feel cool too. The other thing I wanted to mention,
I was just going to add to the one thing that for me, because you can customize your, I don't know exactly what they call them, but like, you have like a passive ability and you have active ones and things like that. And I didn't really even play around with that until the final boss. The whole game I was pretty much playing with the power upgrade to where, you landed X amount of hits and you did more damage. And then there was one that increased healing, or the effectiveness of healing. And that was pretty much what I played the entire game with. And then I got to the final boss, and the final boss, there's no healing involved. I mean, there's nothing you can heal with. There's nobody drops any health or anything like that. So I was just kind of playing it, and like, man, this guy seems really hard. I keep running out of life, and I thought, let me look at these things finally. And so I switched it up, and I switched it to, every few hits you gain a little bit of health, and I forget what the other one I ended up picking was, but just something to be more effective in that fight. And I was like, man, this whole game I could have been doing this, but I was just choosing not to. So I would like to go back and experiment with those kind of loadouts a little bit more.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Well, so yeah, and that's the thing. So that was what I kind of realized makes the running past the enemies another. It's like you can run past the enemies, but the thing is that you get these abilities. Like, for example, one of them is basically the way like the ones work is like you get to a certain amount of hits and then this ability will activate, right? So it might be 30 hits or whatever. So people are also complaining like, oh, I see the combo counter doesn't go away. So yeah, the combo counter, it's not like the Streets of Rage 4 combo counter or like a fighting game combo counter where it's like you're doing all of this within like some frame window or whatever. It's just how many consecutive hits you've gotten without being hit, right? Mm-hmm. Right. So basically, the more hits you have stacked, the stronger you can potentially be if you have one of those skills. So like, for example, if you run past all the enemies, then when you get to one of the mandatory sections, you're going to have to start from there to try to get your ability up to then use it in the fight. But if you do all the fighting before you get to a mandatory section, then you'll be strong, right? If you have one of those abilities, or whatever ability you have will be activated. So it's kind of like a give or take. And so that actually makes it really cool to me that you can either, I can do these easy fights and build my hits up so I'm ready for the fights, or, you can just go into the mandatory sections and try to run past all the other enemies. So, I mean, you really can, play how you want. And like you said, there's a lot of experimenting to do, and you unlock a lot of those. There's like the passive or the active upgrades. I don't know what they call them, but yeah, there's like a good amount of them. So there's a good amount of variety in the combat system. So yeah, I mean, I think the game is dope. The combos are really dope. You can do with the sword, and yeah, so definitely a lot there. Now the music I think was another thing that was big, and so okay, initially I didn't like the music that much, and then when we recorded the last podcast, I was kind of like, oh, the music is decent. I would still say the music is overall decent, but I think it's even more decent, right? I don't think it's quite like
decent.
Yeah, it's like I would say it's in between dope and gets the job done. Like what I think I might need to do now that I've like actually beaten the game is just listen to some of the tracks. Because sometimes, as you're playing the game, especially because of the way the music works, it's like it's one of those active soundtracks. I can't think of the name of it. Atmospheric, I don't know, but like it's like
dynamic
dynamic. Yeah, so it's like as things change in the game, the music will change. It'll ramp up when you get into a fight, all of that. So sometimes it is kind of difficult to really just sit back and listen to a track. But some of the later ones are really dope. Like I remember really liking that last lab stage. I think like some of those songs in there were just really dope and really, I don't know, they really brought a certain feel to the game. And one thing I wanted to say about this game is that I think Streets of Rage 4 does have a better overall soundtrack, but I like that this game, especially in those last few stages, despite the art style looking a bit comic-y, with that Lizard Cube style, they did a really good job with making it feel serious like the old games. And that was the thing that Streets of Rage 4 I felt was missing. I feel like throughout that game it kind of had this sort of lighter indie game feel to it, especially with the bosses being I guess Mr. X's kids. I think they're his kids, Mr. and Mrs. Y. Like they both just seem like cornballs, clear nepo babies, but the boss of this game is like this dope evil sorcerer dude, so
yeah, he's trying to be the Grim Reaper. Yeah, I thought that was kind of a interesting twist. Like I haven't seen anyone do that before.
Right. No, exactly. Yeah, and so yes, I think it's dope. For me, I think the only thing is probably the only bad. The things that I feel do hold it back is just. Okay, I think one very tangible thing, of course, we did discuss this before, but I think Lizard Cube does just have this. They just kind of have a small bit of an issue with like presentation. Now the artwork, I think, especially as the game went on, I actually really like the art is fire. Like the game in that regard looks extremely dope. And what I think is really cool is like despite it having this hand drawn style, you can see a lot of progression that they made between this game and Streets of Rage 4 with the style. Like this game looks way better, in my opinion. Now, the presentation though, because I know we discussed that last time, like some of the, and I mean in the Lost podcast. But yeah, exactly. Yeah. The menus, the fonts. Sometimes it kind of comes across as like, oh yeah, we typed this in Word, or oh yeah, this is a mobile game. But
right,
and it's weird because it's like a weird mix because like the world map and stuff, I think it looks really dope. But then you'll like start a stage and then it's just like aerial text or whatever. I don't know. Right. It's like so.
Yeah, and I think and that's a pretty minor complaint, but it does. It just it did strike me. It's like when you fire it up and it's like, just getting to the title screen is just like. It's quick, fast, it's kind of just like title cards they made on, like a, I don't know, in Photoshop or something. It's like not even animated hardly or anything. It's just like everything's just kind of utilitarian as far as the menus and the presentation goes. At the time when we recorded previously, I had kind of complained about the art style being a little generic and stuff. And I think the reason I was coming to that conclusion is because like when you just play the game, you're so focused on looking out for stuff and moving fast and quick reflexes and all of that and reacting to things that you don't really get to stop and look at just like the backgrounds or the animation of the enemies and things like that. So if you stop playing and you just watch some footage of the game, that's when you can really pay attention to the small details of things going on in the background and just like the hit effects and the way things move, and just, I mean, everything is very detailed. And so I would agree. It does look very good. It does look very stylized. It looks like a cohesive style. The lizard cube style. So I mean, that is, I think, undeniably very well done. But you may not notice it if you're just playing, playing through, playing fast, jumping around, doing all this stuff, because you don't have time to. So I would encourage
Right.
people to sit back and watch gameplay of the game as well as just playing it.
No, exactly. Yeah, like I would say that, like in some of the stages, I might just like sit there and look at it because I thought it looked dope. But there's a stage towards the end. I don't want to spoil anything, but like I'll just say that like you're in a lab, and I think that was one of the first stages where I was like, where like even as you're playing it, some of the changes in the backgrounds, it just made me stop and just say, damn. That stage, and honestly, the last one too. Both of those stages, I was kind of honestly almost like blown away by some of the stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I think that the game is really dope in that regard. I don't know. Maybe also might be a small complaint. Okay, so the difficulty I'm having here is this. It is. I say the game is an 8.5, but I feel like if you say the game is an 8.5, you have to give reasons, right? Part of me almost wants to just say it's a 9 out of 10. Like, I feel like I can say it's not perfect. I feel like I can say it's not it's not like a greatest of all time game, so it's not necessarily a 10. But I'm like, other than that, I mean, I don't really have any huge issues. I think that there are some things that are annoying. Like, it is kind of tough getting used to some of the. So, okay, one thing I did also want to mention, and I'm sticking to this point, but it's that it's related to this, is that there is some talk about how the combat might be easier, or you can skip enemies or whatever. Okay, but that's not the full game. The platforming in this game is crazy. Right?
It is crazy.
So there are some wild platforming sections, and just like what Queasy was saying, like those encore riffs, a lot of them they're just straight platforming. So if you like platforming, trying to jump to the right thing and jump at the right time and time your jumps and all that, this game has a lot of that. And it even has a few like sections in the stage where you're being chased by something and you got to jump all at the right time. And it can be pretty difficult to do the first time because sometimes you don't know exactly where to jump to. So sometimes you almost have to die because you'll have to. Oh, okay, I see that as you're dying, and then you'll know the next time. So definitely good difficulty in that regard. And so what I would say is with the platforming, sometimes it feels like the hurt boxes or the hit boxes or whatever might be a little off. Like, oh, I touched the side of the wall with the spikes, but not actually the spikes, but I still died. Right.
Right.
Those things kind of annoy you. But again, though, what I would say is that I think as time goes on, as you play the game, because I mean, the game's been out for what, 2 weeks. And this is something, right? Yeah, this is, I'll be probably playing this off and on for the next 5 years, just like I did with Streets of Rage 4. So as my familiarity with the spacing and the systems and all that gets better, those sections will undoubtedly get easier.
Yeah.
So
did you do all of the rifts?
No, I've actually only even completed one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been into a few of them. Like I've been into some others, and I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I'll come back.
Some of those. Well, I think the worst one. Well, there was 2 that were really bad that I remember. One, not bad in like a literal sense, but like really oppressively difficult. There was one with some buzz saws that were, it involved moving platforms and buzz saws. So you had moving platforms that you had to jump from, as there were, these buzz saws on the ceiling, on the walls, and so you had to really be very precise, and you couldn't stay on the platform because the platform would go right through the saws, so you had to be constantly either hanging off a side or jumping off and then jumping back on and using the wall jump and stuff, and it was just incredibly hard. And I did get through it, but man, it was like I mean, it was definitely, Souls from soft level of difficulty. Probably, honestly, harder than that because it required more like physical, like muscle memory execution than like a Souls game would. Souls games tends to be a little more cerebral, I think. But this was all just like execution, like a fighting game, So I almost would be
Right.
interested to see how Lizard Cube would do with a with a fighting game at this point, based off
Yeah.
of some of these things. And then there was another one that was it was definitely a Rift where it was a similar thing. A lot of moving platforms, very small platforms that you had to jump to, huge arrays of moving things that would scroll up, up or down off the screen, and you had to be constantly moving. And like, my God, like you'd get all the way through, and then you just wanted to wall jump on something or hang on the wall for a second, and instead he would climb up to the top of it and you're dead, and there's nothing you can
Right.
do, and then there was one too where I got all the way to the end, and and typically the way it works in this game, if there's like a hazard, which I'm not totally sold on this either, if there's like a hazard like a spike or lava or something like that and you touch it, you don't really die, you take damage, and then you go back to like the closest checkpoint and you have to try again. So typically that was how the rifts were working. And so if you hit the spikes, you have to go back to the closest checkpoint, which in the rifts is not very close, but still. So I get all the way to the end, and then fire starts coming up from the bottom of the screen, and you have to go fast, and you go climb higher, higher, higher to get away from the fire. And if you touch the fire, you just die. Like, you're just out of the rift entirely. There's no like,
Oh,
there's no
man.
starting over, So it was like, man, that was kind of, I didn't understand that at all. So yeah, there was a couple of them that were like, should I even bother doing this? It was that hard, but I did get through them, and it felt pretty good to get through them. So
Yeah, well, I got some
not
stuff
that the
that I
dark
look forward
katana, not that the dark katana was that much more powerful to really justify it, but you know,
Man, well, at least I got something to work for. Yeah, to work for. So yeah, oh Lord, yeah, no, yeah, like because I mean the game itself has like pretty decent difficulty, the bosses and things like that. But yeah, man, that platforming can be on another. It was even a few of the stage sections I like had to repeat a bunch of times. So like the one with the
Yeah.
helicopter and stuff. The first time you do it, it's like, oh man.
yeah. I
So
mean, that said, it is some of the best platforming I have seen in a long time.
right, yeah, no, that's the truth. Yeah, so yeah, I mean. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I might even up my score to a 9. Honestly, like I do feel like if you like 2D stuff, if you like ninjas, if you like Metroidvania, whatever arcade games, check this one out. Definitely check this one out. I don't think it's like Symphony of the Night, this all time goat or anything, but definitely fire. Definitely fire. I'm definitely very impressed. The thing that makes me the most sad is that I don't think Lizard Cube is doing the next Streets of Rage game. So,
No,
because I would love to see one with these advancements that they've made to the art style. So, but yeah, so I'm pleased. I'm happy with Shinobi as the first game.
oh, for sure, for sure.
So yeah, I mean, I would say other than that, in Sega Land, as we await Golden Axe, Crazy Taxi, Jet Grind Radio, Streets of Rage, we do have Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and I did play the beta. Queasy, I don't think you played the beta, right?
I did not.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, it's good. It's really good. It's better than Mario Kart World. So I think people will be playing that. I could, especially after that abysmal Nintendo Direct that just happened, I could say a lot of bad stuff about Nintendo right now. Good God. I mean, okay, I'll just say this. Did you see any of that Direct? This is not a Nintendo
No.
podcast, but I have to talk about this.
I did not. No.
Okay, they're making a Pokemon. Did you see that Pokemon Minecraft game?
No.
Okay, there's there's a Pokemon Minecraft game where you like build shit. I don't know.
Like it's
You
Minecraft
literally
with Pokemon, or it's like a Pokemon.
Oh no, it's like
It,
it's like a separate. It's not actually Minecraft necessarily, but yeah, it's like a Minecraft like or whatever.
okay.
But yeah, but you play as Ditto, who has shapeshifted into a little girl. I'm not making this up.
Man, it sounds
So
like Nintendo.
right, no, exactly. So Ditto turns himself into a girl, still has the Ditto face, and then you basically play through the game, and then you like I guess you meet other Pokemon and learn their moves. You know, oh Razor Leaf, and then with Razor Leaf I can cut up these blocks or whatever, and you like make shit.
Show me
I
your
was
moves.
exactly, and I'm like, this is what y'all putting on the Switch too. Like Shinobi is not even on the Switch too, mind you. You know, it's on the Switch, but not the Switch 2. But we got
Damn shame.
Pokemon Minecraft with starring Ditto. You know, what the
Awesome.
hell are you doing? And we're getting the Virtual Boy back. I don't know if you saw that either.
No, they're doing that. Virtual Console, Virtual Boy.
They're not only doing Virtual Console Virtual Boy, they're actually releasing Virtual Boys. And you can like put the Switch in it and look at like you're playing the Virtual Boy.
Man.
They cost
So,
$100.
wow. So potentially we're seeing a real flip here because, Sega for years and years was like, the lame company, like they were just fucking lame. Nintendo was, maybe they weren't cool, but they were like, every game was a 10 out of 10. It would sell crazy copies, I mean, and Switch 2 still sold obviously tremendously well, but, people are a little disappointed so far. And now we're seeing, Sega's coming out with, Shinobi, I think is, undoubtedly, whatever you think about it, whether you think it's a 7 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 or whatever, it is a cool game. It looks cool. Yeah. It sounds cool. It's got ninjas in it. It's not some wimpy game, with weird, little girl dittos in it or anything like that. This is
right.
This is about ninjas killing people. That's wiping people out, so, and, from what we've seen, Virtua Fighter looks really cool. The new Virtua Fighter project, as they call it. All the hype is steadily building with Revo. It seems like every time they announce something, more and more people. I'm seeing more and more tournaments now.
Right.
Obviously, the Sonic movies were popping off. Everything is, things are kind of looking up Sega right now.
No, and I think Sonic Racing Crossroads is going to be really big in that regard because it's on all the platforms. At least how it felt in the beta, it felt really dope. It felt really good, and yeah, we full blown good kart racing. And, and the one thing I was thinking the other day was like people are always like, oh yeah, Mario Kart, Mario Kart, Mario Kart, and it's like all these regular people play it, but I was like, people do play Mario Kart, and in all honesty, if you take one of these quote unquote regular people who play Mario Kart, how many of those characters do they actually know? They know Mario, Luigi, and Peach. Like no regular person at your job who isn't a Nintendo fan knows who the hell Shy Guy is, right? But they still play Mario Kart, right? So I'm like, as I'm looking at Sonic Racing, I'm like, shit. You got Sonic, you got Tails, you got Knuckles, you got Shadow. People know who they are, and then Robotnik. I'm like, Sega kind of. They have the roster for it. And then not to mention that they're doing these guest characters. They're putting Persona in it, Yakuza in it. There's even like Nickelodeon characters. So as long as they do everything the right way, that game could be really big. It'll probably might be the new kart racing standard. I think it's far better than any of the other ones that they did. So I'm really looking forward to it. There's just some good things about it, man. Like I love the fact that you can just do a single race. You do the race, you get out of it. It has really cool online features. Like it's like a fighting game. There's like a fighting game ranking system. Like you rank up, you do this, you get your race rank, and you can even put a title next to your name. Nice. It's literally got a online fighting game, online system. You go in, you do one race, you come out. I hate doing like I hate that I have to do a circuit when I play Mario Kart. Right, you're
Right.
stuck in the 4 races or whatever. So I don't know. As Sonic Racing is looking, it's looking good. So yeah, it is looking. We might have to change the podcast name to Sega for Old Men because it's starting to look good out here.
It is. It is.
You
Yeah,
know,
I
so.
mean, okay, we got Shenmue 3 re-released. Not that that's officially Sega or
Oh,
anything like that, but
but I mean, still though, yeah, that's yeah,
and
that's legit.
the cameo by Mr. Hazuki himself in the background of Shinobi as well. It's very nice to see that.
Is that in the city stage?
The Neo City, no, it's in which stage is it? He's driving a forklift in the background.
Oh, it's in the fish market, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think I did see that. Okay, I did see that. I did see that because a lot of people missed that Joe Musashi had a cameo in Streets of Rage 4, and so that
Right.
kind of foreshadowed this game. Did you also notice the other little Sega cameo that was in this game that I didn't realize?
Which one is that?
Well, it's not necessarily a cameo. It's a real person who appears as a voice actor.
No, I don't think I did.
So, the voice actor for Joe Musashi is the Daytona guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Takenobu Mitsukoshi or whatever. Is I saw his name in the credits, and let me.
With all these great lines like,
Yeah, that is the funny thing is he literally doesn't say anything. He just grunts.
right. But that's so cool though. Like I love that, And it's not like
Right.
Link or whatever where he just doesn't talk. He just that's all he's
Right.
got to say.
No, exactly. Yeah, and it was funny because I was as the credits were rolling and I saw the name and I was like, where do I know that guy from? Like I definitely recognized the name and I'm like, is he a Japanese actor? But I look it up and I'm like, oh no, that is the date. Because in my mind it was like, it's not the Daytona guy, because I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, it's him.
That's
so,
beautiful. That's like Vin Diesel playing Groot. It's like
Right.
just
No, exactly.
overcasting.
Right, yeah, because he did a song for like the Virtua Fighter 5 Revo or whatever. So it's cool that at least he is back in the mix. And I saw that T. Lopez and Yuzo Koshiro did most of the soundtrack for this as well in the credits. So it was an all-star cast here. So Sega's back, man. Sega's back.
Right.
So now the other topic that I did want to bring up, spend a couple minutes on it here. Especially as we wait for these other 4 games. So with Shinobi, we got a totally new game, right? We got totally new. This is a totally new game. That was another thing I think we didn't mention when we talked about the game. Is I think we both loved how it is very unique in its own right. Right? It's not a bunch of callbacks. I mean, there are
Right.
callbacks, but it's not like egregious. It's not like, hey, look at
it's not
me.
like- Right. Play the same
is-
level again. Green Hill Zone again. It's not like that.
Right, yeah, they don't, remember this song, they don't do all that in this, this huge way. And so that is good. Now with the other 4 games, we don't necessarily know that. Golden Axe could potentially be a remake. Jet Grand Radio could potentially be just a remake. But in the talk about remakes, I would say in recent years, there's been 2 big remakes that have taken up a lot of my time. So Final Fantasy VII, Remake and Rebirth. And then here recently, Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. Now I know that neither of these are Sega games, so I won't talk about them too much. But I did get Delta recently, and outside of Sega, I'm a very big Metal Gear Solid fan. And playing that game really gave me a brand new appreciation for Remake and Rebirth, because I do love Metal Gear Solid Delta. I love it. But I love it because it is exactly what I played in 2004. Right? It's the exact same game. Right? There's barely. I mean, there's a new control scheme, kind of, but I mean, the enemies are in the same places, the areas are the same, the cutscenes are the same, everything plays out the same way. You can still kill the end early. It just has all the exact same stuff, and so it really made me think because I know a lot of people are looking forward to, these one-to-one remakes with things. And I mean, I can kind of get it if the graphic style was drastically different from before. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 3 still looks pretty good. So Metal Gear Solid Delta, I mean, it looks better, but, it just looks like good Metal Gear Solid. But yeah, I think, understanding that new people may need to play the game, I think overall, I don't think I ever want to play another one-to-one remake. Of anything, especially a game that isn't like my favorite game of all time. Because, like, for example, if you didn't like Delta, if you didn't like Snake Eater, you're not going to like Delta. Now, someone who didn't like maybe the turn-based combat or the blocky look of Final Fantasy VII could certainly enjoy Remake or Rebirth, right? Mm-hmm. But if you didn't like Snake Eater, you're not going to like Delta. It is the same game. And so as much as I do love it, it really kind of made me think like, man, like I hope we don't get a one-to-one Jet Grind Radio, because I'm probably not going to play it if it is, honestly. I mean, I'll probably get it and I'll probably load it up a time or two, but I don't know.
Because that would be another one where, I mean, the art style was so, that game is so timeless in its visuals and music and everything that, like, there's no point in remaking it. I mean, you can re-release it if you want, but
right,
put it in 16:9 and re-release it or whatever. But like, there's no point in doing a one-to-one remake of something that's already sufficiently visually good, and it would be foolish. So I mean, I think that has to be, I mean, unless they were, we're gonna combine, Jet Set Radio Future, and upscale the the Game Boy Advance version or whatever it was. Like, I don't know, but I think it has to be a new game. It has to be. So
right, yeah. For me, for sure, I definitely want, like, full blown new games. Because the one-to-one remake. Now, since then, what has been announced is a Dragon Quest VII, what looks like maybe a one-to-one remake, and I mean, it does look cool, right? That does look very cool. And I can kind of get that for like a very older RPG. So like I would maybe accept a Phantasy Star 4 one-to-one remake.
Right. Well, yeah, because graphically and camera and everything would just be so drastically different.
Exactly. But yeah, anything I feel like that is Gen 6 or later, I just hope I hope Sega does not invest into anything like that. I mean, I don't know what games from those generations are even good enough for Sega to remake. I mean, there's a lot of Billy Hatcher fans out there, so maybe we'll get a
hey now,
a Billy Hatcher remake, or
what else?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about it.
Those were dark days.
I mean,
dark days.
Honestly, I mean the big one is like. See, this is a one that I feel like would be tough. Would you want a Shenmue one-to-one remake?
No.
See, yeah, like that would be a tough one, because I mean, I feel like seeing Shenmue in new graphics would be awesome, especially if they just kind of expand on things like the Tomato Mart and the things you can buy and all that. But it's just gonna be the same game. You're going to blow through it like you would, because that's what's happening to me with Delta. Like, I know the game, so it's, I'm beating it in a few hours or whatever.
Right.
So, yeah, Shenmue, you'd want something totally new if they did something. Or if they remade it, it would need to add a lot of new stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, no, one-to-one, no way. But yeah, I mean, yeah, if it was like just crazy levels of depth, which I don't see them investing in. I mean, because Shenmue, as it was the most expensive game ever produced at the time. and then they designed it using like paper spreadsheets or something like that. Somehow, I don't know how they turned that into graphics on a GD-ROM, but they did it. But it was very complex and difficult to develop, and it had incredible levels of detail at the time. So you would have to really take it to a whole new level of like realism, I would think, to make it worth it remaking that. Otherwise, it would just be like you said, it's the same game.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's something that I think as I've been playing, as I play Streets of Rage 4, and then with Shinobi, I have just really, really appreciated that from Lizard Cube. That, I mean, these games weren't remakes anyway, but they also didn't, it wasn't like that Sonic 4 style of sequel, Sonic 4 or Sonic Mania style of sequel. Like,
Right.
Sonic Mania objectively is really good, but and I didn't feel this way at the time, but Queasy, you certainly called it. It just there's way too much nostalgia baiting or whatever you want to call it in that game. There's full blown stages from the old games that barely look any different, that are just randomly mixed in there. Same songs.
Same songs.
The engine is basically the same. Like there aren't any very substantial new upgrades to it. And I think that's why over time Sonic Mania didn't enter into because that's the thing I think with these games is like people look at these games come out, and a game can be really good. People will run out and buy it. They'll go get it, they'll download it or whatever. They'll play it for 20 hours. And then they'll spend the next 5 months playing GTA 5. Right?
Right. Like they were before.
Exactly. So we need more games that make you come back to them year after year, month after month, the way that these older games did. Because, yeah, I mean, none of us like Shinobi 3 or Streets of Rage 4 or Shenmue because we played it one time for 20 hours.
Right.
These were games that we played, that we lived with. And so I love that with Streets of Rage 4 and with Shinobi, these are things that we can live with. Sonic Mania, no, that was cool at the time, So soundtrack is fire though. I do listen to that still, but I don't need to play the game. I don't need to play Press Garden.
Studiopolis, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Just listen to
that piano solo gets me every time.
Right now, that's the So yeah, so. Well, yeah. Well, Sega is back. So, going forward, it looks like the president has been set for something really good. And hopefully it just continues down that path.
I agree with that. I made the comment earlier, and I think Lizard Cube need to do a fighting game. I want to see that.
Man, shoot. You know what? I would absolutely love, especially if we already have Virtua Fighter, if we can get a Lizard Cube 2D Sega mashup fighter. Yeah, just give us Fighters Mega Mix 2.
Not arena style, not platform style, but like real Fighters Mega Mix. They do Fighters Mega Mix 2. Especially, I mean, they got good. I said in the first attempt, they had good character designs. I mean, I liked, obviously Joe Musashi was cool. You mentioned Lord Ruse or whatever his name is, the right. Final boss. I liked Tomoe. I liked the dog. I liked what was her name? Chio. Yeah, Chio was cool.
And then the Grim Reaper dude himself.
Yeah, he just like some old decrepit, Dark Lord dude, that was down on his luck, kind of was interesting.
No, that is a really good point. Because again, Streets of Rage 4, I don't give a damn about Mr. X and Mr. Y. I thought they were lame. But Floyd I thought was really cool. And it took me a little bit, but I like Cherry as well, and I also think Estelle was cool. So yeah, I mean overall, I do think Lizard Cube is really good with character design. I will definitely give you that. And so yeah, I mean, you just might need the Lizard Cube Sega universe at this point. So
even they had Joe Musashi's, well, spoiler alert, but they had Joe Musashi's wife, and then they had she's pregnant, in the beginning of the game, and then which was side note, you don't really see a lot of mothers or fathers in games, so that was nice to see. And then she gives birth, and then you see the little baby Joe Musashi at the end of the game.
Oh, you know what? I might not have even noticed that because
You didn't.
I skipped a lot of the cutscenes. I can't lie. Like my first playthrough. Oh, is it? I need to go back and see that.
It's just a little baby ninja. Like he's got all the ninja gear on and everything.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I need to actually see it. I did appreciate that they put the story in there, but I kind of was, whenever I would start the stage and they would get on that walkie-talkie, I'd be like, "Come on, man! Like, let me start the stage, like like the old days." But I need to actually watch that.
She didn't come back. She's dead. She's fully dead.
She's one of those spirit people or whatever. Spoilers.
She's in the nether realm, I guess. But she can still come back for Fighters Mega Mix 2, I guess.
Right. See, that's there's real consequences in this world.
Yeah, it's a real deal.
Well, so we will we'll log off here, and I'm going to make a very strong attempt to get this podcast saved. So this is the one that you hear. So hopefully, all you glorious fans out there are listening to this in a couple of days. So,
I got news for you. I'm not recording at all.
Second mistake. Power's out.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, well, I don't know. Do you have any last words on Shinobi?
That's it. Go out, buy it. Support Sega. Sega's back.
Right. Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah. I will be buying the game again. I definitely want a physical of this game. So, because this game is fire. So, all right. Well, that's no Sega for old men, and we will hopefully be back soon. Peace.
Peace.